Hello and welcome to the I've Seen Everything Reaction Wrap-Up podcast. Here is where I share my thoughts, reactions, and review for my latest reaction videos. To find these full reaction videos, please search for @SeenEverything over on YouTube, or check the description of this podcast for more information. Also, please remember to rate and comment on this episode, and follow the podcast so you can see when I'm putting out new wrap-ups. And now, on to my latest wrap-up for Die Hard 2. You know, I want to know the story. They never had her back. Her name's Bonnie Bedelia, who played Holly. And really, they didn't have any scenes together in this movie other than right at the end. Although I guess that's true of the first movie too. They had more scenes. They had at least one scene early on when he first gets there. And then a couple of scenes toward the end maybe. But this was really the only time they were on screen at all together. I wonder if there was something about the two of them working together. Maybe they didn't like each other or something. I wonder why she wasn't in any of the other movies. There were 3 other movies. I don't remember if they actually split up at some point or what. I remember in the third one, they were kind of on the rocks, but they weren't split up. I thought they had a good chemistry together, but, you know, it did always seem like they were kind of limited as far as how much they were actually on screen in these movies. But I would say that's better than I remembered. It was a really good action movie. It's a good entry into the Die Hard franchise. There were certainly some interesting parts, things I'd forgotten. I still don't think that this surpasses 3 or certainly 1 for me. I really like Die Hard with a Vengeance. It's a really good movie, has a really good pace. I mentioned earlier on that I wouldn't talk about it in this one, but I've actually found this out in the last couple of years that movie was actually supposed to be an action movie starring Brandon Lee. Die Hard with a Vengeance was. Just called Simon Says, I think, before he passed while making The Crow. And that script got passed around a couple of times. It was supposed to be another Lethal Weapon movie at one point, and then it ended up being another Die Hard movie and got turned into Die Hard with a Vengeance and put all the John McClane stuff in there and all that. But that one, whoever wrote that script, that one really clipped along. This one, I guess maybe there was a little bit of a disjointed feeling in some parts as far as the pacing, but it still worked. It was a creative setting for this type of movie. I don't know how often you see this kind of thing at an airport. I don't know how often you see planes being held hostage by someone taking over the control tower of an airport. I would figure it has to have happened in some other action movie. I mean, I know there's other action movies that have involved planes and like even passenger planes, executive decision, things like that. But this particular setup, I don't know. And people actually out having like a kind of a boss fight on a wing of an airplane. I don't know. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. They are obviously, after the success of Die Hard, they probably got back in and wanted to do another one as soon as they could get it out there. Maybe wanted it to become kind of a Christmas tradition. I think that there was a pretty good gap after this before they did another one. I don't think that Die Hard with a Vengeance came out until 95. Correct me if I'm wrong. But a 5-year gap before they finally did another one. And then obviously by that point, they decided to move away from the whole Christmas thing. But it seems to be a goal of these kind of legacy action franchises, these kind of core action movie franchises of the 80s and 90s, to consistently like bring you a new story involving the characters you know, but find like an unfamiliar way to show you something, hopefully, that you haven't really seen before. Was there an action movie before the original Die Hard that had a plot in like an office building like that, basically taking it over, holding an entire Christmas party hostage, all that kind of stuff? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, people out there who know action movies better than I do would know better. It just seems like these are fairly unique plots. They're not things that are done over and over again. You do see that in action movies, certain plots that are done over and over again. You have people who really go to the trouble to come up with an original story to at least show you some things in a certain way, even if it's the same kind of beats that you haven't necessarily seen before. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it again. Thanks for watching it with me. And that is it for us on week 3 of our Ho-Ho Holiday Reactions, and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Thanks so much for listening to the I've Seen Everything Reaction Wrap-Up. Again, to find these full reaction videos, please search for @SeenEverything over on YouTube, or check the description of this podcast for more information. Also, please remember to rate and comment on this episode and follow the podcast so you can see when I'm putting out new wrap-ups. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll meet you here for the next episode.